Yo, what is up, everybody? Welcome back, man. Um, whew, it's been a whirlwind since the last time I got in front of the camera and talked and spoke to y'all. But I'm glad we're here now, making it do what it does. I've seemed like in a little bit better spirits. I just rewatched the first episode that I recorded, finding out that me and my wife are pregnant. And we are super excited to be welcoming a new life. I think after the shock hit me, I just found out 2 days before I recorded that video that we were having a child. And then you can see kind of the shock in that video of the low tone. And well, it is what it is, right? Type of mentality to now, man, is where I'm just really excited to share some amazing things with y'all. And before we even get there, I'm just excited, man. I'm just excited because we found out we had to actually almost ruined the whole surprise. Dang, man. So I haven't updated you, man. The last time I was here, we found out we were pregnant. We were 4 weeks, 4 weeks pregnant, and that's relatively nothing. I think the baby was the size of a Cheerio, if that. But now we are on week 10. Week 10. I think we just started week 10. Let me see. Let me see. We got the pregnancy app. Ooh, I lied. We are on week 11 as of today. We are on week 11, and the baby is the size of a strawberry. Oh, they're so cute right now. And with that, we finally. So let's step back a little bit. So we had our confirmation appointment, which was the most whack appointment ever. Yo, what? That's a whole appointment, dog. Like I'm sitting bro, I'm like me and my wife are really giddy. Like we're in bed, like, oh, tomorrow's baby day. Tomorrow's baby day. We get to see the baby tomorrow. So we're in bed, we're giddy, and wake up in the morning, we're excited. We're like, oh yeah, we're going to see our baby for the first time. Like we're super excited. So we get there a little earlier. I'm excited. Like I'm just now the reality is setting in. Like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be a dad, and I can't wait to see. To see what we get. I've talked to friends that have children, and they're like, the first appointment, you might not get to see them in the ultrasound. You might not get to hear the heartbeat, and sometimes most of them are really candid. They're like, man, this first appointment isn't much. And I'm like, yeah, right. Thinking in my head, I'm like, we special. We gonna get the treatment. They're gonna say, hey, you about 4 weeks. We're about 5 weeks, 5 or 6 weeks. And I'm like, they're gonna be like, man, you special. Yeah, come on in. Like, we gonna take care of y'all, because it's been a minute. Your first appointment should have been earlier, but we gonna treat you like family. So I'm in my head, I'm in her head. I'm like, oh yeah, we gonna be able to see all the things, all the things. So we pull up to our OB's office, and I'm excited, man. I'm like getting laid to land. I'm like, all right, so cool. This is where we gonna be. Let me make sure I'm scoping out things, how the systems work, paying for parking versus not paying for parking, or what floor level gets us where, what's the fast, I'm a dad mode now. I'm driving the whip. I'm like, all right, cool. I gotta get familiar with this area. I'm like, okay, we get down, we go to the elevators. I'm like, say what security guards. So, when the time comes, they know your boy. Like, oh, what up? All right, cool. So knowing what floor level things are on, like the OB's office or the ultrasound room. So I'm kind of paying attention to that. We're getting the elevator. Me and my wife, we were super excited. We're like, oh, okay, this is the first one of many, the first one of many. So we get there, we check in, we're waiting and waiting. We're talking like, yo, so what do you think gonna happen? She's like, I don't know. It's like, this is my first time too. I'm like, oh yeah, this is your first time too. I forgot. So I'm really excited to be there. And one of the interesting things is about this whole thing is I noticed that there are not a lot of there was actually a couple of maybe fathers or supportive male figures that were there, supporting maybe their partner, maybe their daughter, maybe their wife or whoever's friend. And that was really cool to see, man, to see some of the men out there, just being supportive and being there for their wife, child, friend, daughter, whoever, but being supportive, and that was cool. And to be one of them in those rooms was really unique and cool too. So they call us back and they're like, all right, cool, we're gonna have our appointment. And you know what? I scratched it. I'm saying it like they were giddy for us. They weren't really like excited. I got to remember, man. Like this is their job. Like this is where they have to clock into, and this is what they wake up to do. So it's kind of like, yeah, all right, cool, just going through the motions type thing. So they weren't as excited to see us as we were to see them. They go sticking to the routine. Hey, okay, we're gonna take vitals, go step on the scale, blood pressure, all that stuff. So they're like, all right, cool. So my wife goes on the scale, gets her blood pressure read. I'm holding her purse, what I'm saying, I'm holding her purse, I got it on, me. What I'm saying, I was styling though, don't get twisted. So holding her purse, and she's like, all right, cool. Next step is here's a cup. Go pee in that cup for me, and bring it out with you, and we'll be down this hall. Cool. So I'm like, do I wait for her or do I go to the hall? So I opted into waiting for her to do what she got to do. One of the things I noticed too, which was interesting and I don't know. I don't know if I'm selfish for thinking this way or if I'm like trying to make it all about me. And I'm really not. But one of the things I noticed is that some of the people in the office nurses or the doctor's office didn't really acknowledge me, which was interesting. Like, I didn't really get to introduce myself to the nurse practitioner that was helping us out, the practitioner who was helping us out. Like she was very focused on mom, which as she should, right? She should be very focused on my wife. But like, do you want to know the role I play here, or do I sit back? So I was kind of playing with that in my mind. Like, do I introduce myself? Do I not introduce myself? Should they know who I am? Should they know like I'm her husband? Like, and it never really came across like they even cared to ask or cared that I was really there. And again, I don't say that to be selfish. I just say that to make it feel like an inclusive environment for those that are there. And I get it, man. Again, and I go back, I'm really empathetic and can see the other side of like, this is my job. I'm here to focus on my patient, and you are not on that list. So I'm going to focus on my patient. And I get that as well. But I feel like with babies and children, the people that are around, the people that are going with the patient should be known as well. I don't know. That's how I kind of felt. But anyways, they don't pay me any mind. I'm kind of there. She pees in the cup. We take the cup down to the hall. And, we're kind of like, okay, here we go. Let's do it. So we get down there. They have this the birth the pregnancy test laid out, and she gets a little, I think a syringe or something, and she drops some pee on the syringe, and my wife is now sitting on the examining room or the examining bed. She's sitting on top of it, and when she sits on top, so sitting on the bed, and I'm sitting right there next to her, and we're looking at each other, and the nurse goes, "Yep, you're pregnant." I'm kind of like, "Yeah, that's why we're here. Is because she's pregnant. We knew that." She's like, "Oh, no. I mean, I didn't say. I'm saying this in my head, like, duh. Like, why would we make this appointment if she wasn't? Yeah, she's like, come on." So they do that. The nurse practitioner walks out. She's like, "Okay, the OB is going to be here in a couple minutes." And then she leaves. Doctor comes in, and she's like, "Oh, y'all good with a student coming in and observing and learning?" And we're like, "Yeah, cool. Like we love being able to help out those that are furthering their future and all that good stuff." So we're like, "Yeah, welcome her in." And yo, she was mad cool. The student was really cool. Black woman, which was awesome. I think for me, it's awesome to see black women, people of color, in these roles that I necessarily didn't get to see a lot of um, women of color in those kind of areas. Like my mom, I mean, she's in the medical field, right? But to see a black woman being this in this field, OB in medical field, or see a black doctor, like that's awesome to see a Hispanic doctor. Like what? That is fire, and it made me feel a little bit more comfortable, honestly, which was dope. That you don't really get to have that encounter a lot of times, so that was really cool, and she was really cool and helpful, and she led the appointment, and the doctor would chime in of little things, to get better at, and that was cool to hear them go back and forth with one another. And my wife is going through, what she's experiencing right now, nausea, uh, just fatigue, tiredness, all that. And, one of the things that I admired about our OB was when my wife mentioned that she was feeling nauseous. She's writing, obviously she's writing down, or she has a scribe behind me and she's writing down, some of these things. And when she heard nausea, she looks up, she says, "Do you want something for that?" And I thought that was cool because it's like she was being attentive to her needs because she knows how uncomfortable nausea could feel. She's like, "Yeah, we're gonna get." My wife's like, "What?" Yeah, she's like, "Yeah, do you want something for that?" And I was like, "Yeah, you know what? Let's try that." So she got a prescription, and we got an anti-nausea pill, which was cool on her behalf to be attentive as she was. So we go through, and she's asking questions. My wife is answering. They're like, "Are you on any prenatals?" My wife's like, "Yeah, we're on prenatals." So, okay, good. Any questions for me? And at this time, I mean, I had a semi list of questions, and she did a really good job answering some of them that I didn't have to really ask. But I asked questions like, can she go out and lift with me if she wanted to? What's her, what should her physical activity look like? And she said pretty much all the same things. She can continue lifting as long as it's not any extreme sport. And we're like, oh. Yeah, we don't do that. We're not like kayaking or wakeboarding or anything like that. I mean, we're just lifting weights and going on walks. And we told our OB that we're walking 30 minutes a day, and you know trying to build that routine for her, and that was cool. So after we answer our questions, like, all right, cool. We're gonna schedule another appointment, and we'll see you then. She left, and I'm sitting there. I was like, they didn't touch you. They looked at you a little bit, but they didn't. When I don't see no screen up here to see if we're gonna see the baby. I don't see any equipment to see if we're gonna check the heartbeat of the baby. Like all they did was, I was like, this could have been the meme that we see all the time. Is this could have been sent in the email. I could have emailed y'all. And then the one thing that really pissed me off was like the whole confirmation of pregnancy. They were like, "All right, pee in this cup." We're gonna test. Oh, you're pregnant. Yeah, that's why we're here. It's because we know we're pregnant. Uh, I was like, I could have brought the ones from home that she peed on, and we could have been, good. She didn't have to pee. Like, what? Um, so I'll say that. I'll just say the first appointment, man, is if you're a new father, an expecting father, a parent. That first appointment, man, I'm gonna bring you down to reality. It ain't a whole lot, but I will say if you have questions uh, about like for the OB, write them in your notes app, and ask those questions. I think another thing, important thing that I wish I would have done is ask how could we get in contact with you if we have any more questions. After this appointment, because our appointment wasn't scheduled till 2 weeks later or 2 or 3 weeks later. So there's some questions that popped up for us throughout the week, like, oh, should he be doing that? Should he be eating that? And the one thing that I don't want to do, and this might ruffle some feathers, and I hope it does, but I'm not trying to rely on ChatGPT for everything. For everything, because here's the thing, right? ChatGPT is pulling from all corners of the web, and you probably aren't getting the most accurate, informative content or material because it's pulling from everything, the .coms, the edus, the phds, the master's degrees, the research, maybe peer review research, if that, if you tighten up your parameters. But other than that, you don't know what you're getting, you know what advice you're getting it from. So I'd recommend that for your first appointment. But um yeah, ever since then, one of the weirdest things was we left the OB, and you know I'll say this for you guys, but the scheduling of the next appointment was longer than the actual appointment. Like, homegirl maybe was new, maybe they're working with a new system, but poor girl, man, she was just struggling that day when we are trying to schedule an appointment. And I empathize with her. But I was being patient. We were being patient and being understanding and whatnot. But I was like, dang, man, it's taking forever to schedule this next appointment. And we left that appointment kind of like, eh, eh. We were still excited because the next appointment was our ultrasound. Our ultrasound was our next appointment, and we were looking forward to that. That's when we got to see the baby, and we get to really see them in the uterus and all that good stuff. So I say what was weird, what was interesting was we leave, and I think we scheduled our appointment maybe 3 weeks after our first confirmation appointment. So 3 weeks go by. My wife is just like really, really tired and nauseous, like just having trouble keeping stuff down, food wise, and waking up just very nauseous and lethargic and just tired, just very, very tired. And she's pushing through. And we've had friends that have been pregnant, and they say, "Yeah, man, that fatigue's different, and that nausea's different." And me and my wife kept referring back to that. We're like, "Okay, you're gonna get through. Like, it's the first trimester. Of course, it's hard, but you're gonna get through." And every time we would say that, my wife would be like, "Yo, am I being dramatic right now?" And in my head, I'm like, "Yo, the friends that we have, if they can handle it, I think for sure you can handle it. So I think maybe you're being a tad bit dramatic." But I also gave her grace. I was like, "Listen, you're not really being dramatic. I mean, you're growing a whole new life inside you. Like, that's gonna take energy, and it's taking energy from you so that you can give this little person new life as well. Like, be patient with yourself, give yourself grace." And I didn't know like any different of like being tired, but being extremely tired. Like, I didn't know. We both didn't know what we didn't know. So um we're going through, and we're taking the anti-nausea pill, and that doesn't seem to be helping really. Um we're trying different foods for her to see, what worked better, what was better on her stomach. One of the things that we did research on was the prenatals, and she was taking a pill, two pills, once a day. And one of the things that kind of lead to the nausea or the throwing up of or not keeping anything down was how iron dense those pills are, right? Like, those have a lot of iron on it, and the iron can kind of be unsettling to the stomach. Um, so we're like, all right, cool. We'll keep an eye on that. So we're keeping we're like, okay, do we play with different prenatals? Do we see what works and what doesn't work? But we just kept with the same prenatals. So the day finally comes, man. We are at week 10 at this time now. So that was week 4 or 5. So 4 or 5 weeks later, we are back in the ultrasound room. And we were so giddy for this appointment. Like, it was like the day before a field trip, when you're like in fifth grade or in middle school, and you have the night before a field trip, and you're kind of like laying out your clothes, and you're kind of like excited about waking up because you're like, oh yeah, I'm not gonna be in school, I'm gonna be doing this, I'm gonna be hanging out there. So you're like really giddy. And that's how we were. And we're just laying in bed, and we're talking, and we're like, oh, we're gonna see our baby for the first time. Like, this is super exciting. This is super, super exciting. And we're talking like for most of the night just about how excited we are to bring in this new life. And the day comes, and we're counting down the hours until our first appointment, and I'm running around, trying to distract myself and do work. And before I knew it, it was time to like jump in the shower, go get. I was like, I did my whole gym routine and breakfast, and I was like, oh, we gotta go. Like, so we get there, and I'm like, oh, babe, like I'm all pro, like I know where I'm going now. I'm already here, so I know where I'm going. So we park, and we get into the ultrasound room. I'm saying with the security guards, talking to the nurses. What's up? How y'all doing? We're here. We about to see our baby. We about to see our baby. And we pull up, we check in, and as I'm sitting there, we haven't had our honeymoon yet. Our honeymoon was originally supposed to be in Cancun, all inclusive resort. You know what I'm saying? We were supposed to be out there, bottomless drinks, and we were supposed to be out there, free food, and all you could eat, and uh, that had to we had to cancel that part of our honeymoon because originally we were going to go to Cancun and then from Cancun to Washington D.C. to watch the Commanders versus Lions as a honeymoon trip as well. But we cut that first leg off. We're like, all right, we won't do Cancun, but we will do the Lions versus Commanders. So that's what we were doing. I'm sitting in the waiting room and we're looking at hotel rooms to purchase and talking about travel plans. And then we talk about how different it's going to be when we have a kid, about planning travel and all that stuff. So we were super super excited. So we get called back, and shout out to our tech. Our tech was amazing. We get called back to like, all right, we're gonna take vitals, and then we'll go over to this room. And surprisingly, my wife has been dropping weight through this pregnancy, and it's not surprising when you think about it, right? Because she's not able to hold down a lot of food, so she's not eating as much or a lot. And if she is, she's not eating a lot of nutrient rich foods. And that's one of the questions that I think I wish I would have asked if there's something that we should keep an eye on. But I didn't. I was super excited to be there. So make a note of that, fathers. Make a note of questions that pop up. Like, you can bring your phone out and type in your notes. Like, I would recommend doing that, or voice memoing the appointment. That might be beneficial to some of you guys, and then throwing it into like an AI. I wouldn't recommend it, throwing it into an AI summarizer, because it's kind of scary, because now you have like sensitive info. So I would recommend just if you're gonna do the voice memo, but just keep it in there so you can listen back to it about what the doctor says or what the nurse practitioner is saying or the tech is saying. I wouldn't throw that in AI. Yeah, be careful with that, with sensitive information like that. But we get called back, and this is so today is Wednesday. This was Monday. Monday we get called back. This is our first ultrasound. So Monday was the 28th. The 28th. Yeah, 9th. Monday was the 29th. So we get in our room, and she's like, all right, sit right here. Okay, you sit right here. Just my wife sit right here. You can sit right here on this desk. You're gonna look at this big screen. I'm like, this is what I'm talking about. Like, this is where memories are made. Like, this is what I'm talking about right here. Like, the TV. This is way better than our first appointment. Way better. I got a TV. They got the machine. It's ultrasound city, baby. We're about to see something. This is about to be real deal. So my wife's sitting laying down on the bed, and I'm in my chair, and our tech is, doing the tech thing. She put and here's the cool thing too. My wife was telling me, usually the gel, like I remember seeing in videos and movies where the gel's cold and the woman's like, oh, like, it's cold. She said that it was kind of warm. So I don't know if they're putting like a little warmer in the new setup so it warms up the gel, so it's not too cold. But regardless, I thought that was cool. So she's laying down, and the tech goes, all right, first we're gonna check the uterus and ovary. So I'm holding it like I don't know what the equipment's called, but I'm holding it like her. So she's there and she's pressing. She's like, okay, this machine kind of sucks because I can't really see much. She's like, sorry, I gotta push hard. So she's pushing hard on my wife to kind of see what's going on, and she's moving around. And I'm looking at the screen too. I'm like, all right, cool. Like, I think that's the ovary. I'm like looking at TV static. I'm like, it's like one of those the old school therapy. What do you see here? A cat. All right, what do you see here? A cat on fire. Oh, what do you see here? Right, like like one of those. So I'm like looking, I'm squinting. I'm like, all right, is that an ovary, or is that the news channel? Like, I don't know what's going on. So I'm looking at this screen. I don't know what I'm seeing. But she pans, and she's like, all right, cool. Ovaries and uterus look good. She pans. I think I see a baby, like a glimpse. Like, she just like wiped through, and then she's wiped through. I'm like, oh. But she didn't stop. Like, she didn't stop to be like, oh, and here's the baby's head, and here's the baby's feet. No, no, no. She swipes, and I keep thinking that maybe she's looking at the uterus or the one of the ovaries. So I'm like, all right, maybe that wasn't a baby. So she's like pushing hard, like, yo, I'm sorry, yo, this machine's kind of whack and doesn't have good quality. You know what? Let me see if I can get us a new room with better equipment. And then we're like, okay, cool. So she gets up and she leaves, and my wife's laying down on the bed, on the examining bed. And she goes, "Oh, did you see a baby?" I'm like, I think I saw a baby. I'm like, did you see a baby? She goes, yeah, I think I saw a baby. I was like, yeah. And come to find out, after our appointment, we both thought something went wrong. We didn't say anything though in the time. At that time, well, we thought something was wrong because she kind of got up quick and she was like, "All right, cool." And then also before she left, she asked like, "Okay, like, yo, this your first pregnancy?" I'm like, "Yeah, this is our very first pregnancy." Like, "Yeah, cool." And she's asking like, "Yo, how long y'all been together?" Like, "Okay, cool, that's awesome, that's cool." And she's like, "Oh, you have any twins that run in your family?" I'm like, "Nah, we don't got no twins that run in our family." And she's like, "All right, cool, that's awesome, that's cool." And then she's looking, and that's when she says, "Okay, yeah, the sound, the equipment's kind of faulty, and the quality's kind of lagging. See if we can get something better." And that's when me and Liz had the conversation. I'm like, "You saw a baby though?" I was like, "Yeah, I saw a baby." And she comes back. Our tech comes back, and she goes, "Hey, you sure this is like your first pregnancy?" We're like, "Oh yeah, no, for sure, like for sure, this is our first pregnancy for sure." And she, I think you don't know what you don't know. Like maybe this was maybe the husband's first, pregnancy, but maybe the wife's second or third. You know what I mean? It's like so there's different scenarios going on here. But she didn't want to assume anything, so she asked, and we're like, "Oh no, this is our first, yeah, this is our first pregnancy." She's like, "Are you sure twins don't run in your family?" And we're like, "Nah, like we don't got no twins." And then she goes, "Well, you do now." And when I tell you, when I tell you, our mouths hit the ground, I'm not joking. Like, bruh, it was like how my mouth is right now. What? And she goes, "Yeah, here's baby A and baby B." And we see both of them for the first time. So the baby we thought we were having were actually babies that we're actually going to be having. Dude, the amount of shock that was on my face, like my eyes were wide. I was looking like, "Oh, what is happening?" Twins, twins. And my wife is like, what? What is happening? Like, what? We're having twins? She's like, yeah, here they are." And she's like, "Wow, you guys are like my second or first, or my second or third patient that I've had that don't have twins in their family that are now expecting their first set of twins." And man, listen, if you were to have told me when we got pregnant that we were having twins, I would say, "You're lying. You're lying." But here's the crazy part about all this. Yeah, no, actually, the crazy part is here, right? Like we're having twins. That's crazy. But here's the craziest part about this. The day of our ultrasound, I went to sleep and I had a dream. Vividly had a dream that we were having a baby boy. Vividly. And we had the gender reveal, and Tyson ate the cake, and it was blue. And Tyson's my dog, by the way. Tyson's our dog, and he let us know the gender, and he ate the cake, and it was blue, and we're like happy. I wake up and get ready for the day, and my wife is like, "Oh, I had a dream too." She's like, "Oh no," she asked me, "Did you have a dream?" I said, "Yeah, I had a dream that we were having a boy." And she's like, "Huh, that's funny. I had a dream that we were having a girl." And I was like, "Oh, but we're for sure having a boy. Like, I remember when I had a dream that you were pregnant, and now you're pregnant. So if I have a dream that it's a boy, like I think it's a boy. I think it's for sure gonna be a boy." Just before we knew it was twins, right? So we're driving to the appointment, and my wife is texting her sister, and her sister goes, they're talking about babies. Her other sister just recently had a baby, and you know, I don't know how the conversation started, but her sister goes, "This baby's been confusing you for a while. I think you're gonna have twins." On a text before our appointment, like literally like 5 minutes before our appointment, she's texting my wife this. And then she leaves. We're like, "Okay, we're about to go to the appointment." And then she texts us back. She goes, "Crossing my fingers, it's twins." And yo, you can't make this shit up. Like, bro, like no, no actual way. So then in our appointment to find out we're twins, I told the tech this about the text messages, and she goes, "Wow, your sister might know something." Like the twins, like we don't know the sex yet. We won't know. We don't know the genders of them until maybe our next appointment. But yo, the man, the awesomeness of that. I kept saying that. I kept saying, "How awesome is that? How blessed am I? How blessed are we, me and my wife, to not only have one, but to have two?" And as she's looking, the appointment didn't stop there. Like she keeps scanning, and as she's looking, both babies are like kicking. And let's see if I can show you. Let's see if I have a video here. They're both kicking, chilling out, hanging out, very active, moving around, and it was. it was super cool and super cute to see them. Let me see, like, our tech was awesome. And the reason why she left, she's like, I really did want a new equipment so I can see you better. I didn't have to push so hard, but I also had to get approval that tell you that you were having twins. And I'm super appreciative that she did that for us. And she also hooked us up and was like, yeah, you're gonna need imaging. Because the first thing, and that's the other thing, the first thing she said is like, don't expect to take any, we're not gonna give you, don't expect to take any uh to have any photos with you or anything like that. Like, this is just kind of what we're looking at. And she kind of set that boundary pretty, not strictly, but very like, this is what it is. This is what we do. And so for her to go out of her way and be like, I talked to the doctor and they said that you can keep some scans and some pictures and take some video. That was really cool. That was really cool of her and nice of her to make that happen because they're pretty cute. I didn't get it when I was younger. I was like, okay, like what am I looking at? You know what I'm saying? But then when they're your child, like you're just very giddy to just be able to see them. Oh yeah, here we go, here we go, here we go. We'll mute it. But that's twin A. And twin A, you can see they're moving. Uh yeah, they were just moving around, man. They were just really chill. So there's that one. What else I got for you? I got another one for y'all. Let me see if I can get you the one together. Maybe I'll show you twin B though. Oh, this is where you get to see both of them. Okay, yeah. Okay, cool. So that's number one that went by. One, two, right there, man. I got two babies on the way. We got two babies on the way. Here we go. And here's another one. Um, they're both of them. You can see their little heads. Oh, baby B. Oh, they're active. Look at they be kicking. Let me show you. Boom. Little boom. Little kick. Oh man, that's so cool. And then at two on the way. Two on the way. And when I tell you our initial reaction or our initial plan was after our first appointment, we were like, all right, we haven't bought anything for the babies. But at first, we didn't buy anything for the baby. We didn't know what they were. We want to make sure that they were still there or in there. So we didn't buy anything. So our plan was after our appointment, we were going to go and buy something for the baby. And the coolest thing was we left having to buy two things for two babies. And the funniest thing about it all, man, is we tell our friends and we tell our family that we're having twins, and to later find out that we do have twins that run in our family, both on her on her dad's side, and then me on my mom's side. We have twins that like not close family, but close enough to pass the gene around, obviously. Um, but here's the thing, right? Now, since we knew that we were having twins, yeah, it was shocked. And again, it goes like this whole pregnancy has been a shock to us. Like if you look back at my first video, I was shocked that we were even pregnant. So the shock on our face when we found out that we were having twins was even more like, what the like what's going on? Like there's no way. And I say that to say, even through it all, like my wife was really shocked. And for me, I was excited. Like after knowing that we were pregnant, I was a little concerned, but also motivated. Like that literally that month that I found out, man, it's been I've been working super hard on the business, on speaking into things, but just the just to witness my wife do something amazing, which I thought she was just creating one life, but the beauty of it is she's creating two lives and doing this. Oh, I love that. We're celebrating my wife right now, boy. Yeah, it's amazing. It's literally God's gift, and she's doing it, and she's doing it super well, and she's any way that I can support, I'm supporting her. And whether that be, I want to get a new prenatal. All right, well, I'm going to Walgreens and get you a new prenatal. Hey, I want McDonald's. And that's one of the coolest things. That's one of the craziest things. The twins are craving McDonald's. Like the whole time I thought she was feeding for one. She's been feeding for three. Like, what? What? So, after finding out again that we were having twins, the first thing I wanted to do was research. Like, I wanted to find somebody that looked like me, that maybe that's going through it or has gone through this, meaning going through like a twin parenting journey. And all the things I'm seeing is just, how different it is from. And I didn't even know that they had a term like singleton parents. Like those are singletons. Like you got for those that have one kid, you're a singleton parent. Like we got some we got some community names for y'all. But the hard part was I wanted to find not just influencers, like, but when it came to the influencer realm, I wanted to find influencers that, still believed in science, still believe in the science, that's going on in modern medicine. I wanted to find influencers that weren't, and this is me being completely honest and transparent with you, man, because I'm not a fan of of the current administration whatsoever. And I don't want people to be following people who are closely related in that and don't believe in vaccines and don't believe in whatever, whatever, like all the things. Um, so I mean, like, how do you find that out? How do you know that? You know, and I couldn't find, and I was having trouble finding. Maybe I found a pocket, a few of those influencers, but I was like, dang, you know what? But what about the ones that are like actually going through it right now, that are having twins, that look like me, that maybe look like my wife? 'Cause me and my wife, I mean, I'm black and Mexican, I'm Blaxican, and my wife is Hispanic and Puerto Rican and white. So we're in this interracial, relationship. So what does that dynamic look like? And on top of that, what about a father who's an entrepreneur and doesn't have a W-2? And how are they juggling that? And how can I get more information or feel a part of a community so I don't feel alone doing this? Because yeah, I have friends that are having kids, but they're having singleton kids. And I finally get to use that. That sounds like, oh, I'm in there with the twin gang. You know what I'm saying? But where is that community? Where can I go to? Maybe a father of colors, like something like that. And my brain just, I kept racking my brain on that. And for those that don't know, I'm a youth public speaker. I go out and talk to youth and families about how to have healthy, positive relationship with their students. And now being a father, but not only just being a father, but being a father too at the same time. This really goes well with the business that I've created with my father, with my own father, right? And I say that all to say is that I want to be that space for the father that just found out 40 40 hours ago, that father that just found out 20 minutes or an hour after their appointment, that they are going to be not only a father of one, but a dad of twins. That's That's who I want this to belong to. But not only that, I want this to be for fathers, right? Even though we are going to be fathers of twins, I'm still going to be a father. And the fatherhood journey is sometimes it can feel isolating at times. So I want to create a space where fathers can come together and talk about these things and talk about just the struggles and troubles and joy and happiness and pitfalls and real life situations that are happening in their livelihood as a father, but not feel alone. They can come to a spot, they can come to a community that can understand, but not coming from a conservative. When I say conservative, I mean I'm talking about like traditional, like I don't hug my kid, and I don't tell my kid I love you because I believe in tough love and that's gonna soften up my kid. Like, nah, nah, nah. That's that's not this. And I want to set that out like now. Like if you join this community, we ain't joining this community to be these what they call them, these alpha males that are not alpha at all. They're very beta and very 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 weak minded individuals. Nah, that ain't this. So I'm sorry if you listen all the way up to this point, and you got this far, and you found out that this ain't for you. I don't. I mean, I apologize that I can't send you off anywhere else, but I hope you find your community. But for us, this community is about breaking generational cycles. It's about I went through what that looks like and I did not like it, and maybe you don't have a healthy relationship with your parent or your father because of that, and now you're coming up and you're trying to figure out ways that you can be a healthy role model to your young one, your young person, your baby. That's this. This is for those that want to know that what gentle parenting is all about, and it's not just about being submissive, and it's all about the child and what they want. Nah, gentle parenting is not that. It's understanding that life has natural consequences and that you're going to find out. But I'm gonna set the boundary for you to understand that there is a boundary and what happens when you cross that boundary. This is for fathers that want to know how to be a better supportive husband emotionally, not just a provider. Because what other people think a provider is that they work long hours and that they pay bills and that they go out and do man work, whatever that is, right? Whatever that is, they think that that's what that is, and they become emotionally unavailable to their wife or their partner. They become maybe irritable, or maybe they start abusing alcohol or other substances. If you're looking for a community to help you healthily and positively support your partner, this is that. Not just financially. Yes, financials are important. That's one of the things that I want to bring to this community is I want to bring in financial experts about how do you plan, how do you create generational wealth, not only for your kid, but maybe for your twins. What does that look like? I don't know. I thought I was preparing for one. getting them set up with their tax savings and their tax free savings and their the credit cards and all that. I thought I was planning for one. I'm planning for two of those. So I think it would be cool to bring people into this community that can share their wisdom on how do I set up a trust for twins or how do I set up a trust for my singleton child. This is what this community is about. This community is not about I'm gonna toughen up my kid by old fashioned butt whooping and not hugging them because that's soft, or not telling them I love them because the world ain't gonna love my son. So watch, whatever. That's not this. That's not this. But I also want to document the journey of being a twin dad. Like I'm prideful in that, man. Like now that's my whole new identity. Now that's my whole new identity. A God fearing man, husband, and a dad of twins. That's my that's me now. And that's super exciting, man. And I want to document some of these things. And this is just me talking, and this is just the podcast version of this. And I'll clip this up, and you'll see it in clips, or you'll see the full thing. But we'll have some real moments, and I'll capture things on iPhones of our ultrasound appointments, and um, us thinking about registry stuff, and planning a baby shower, and also just life. And I'll tell you this right now, I'm missing my second. I'm missing my wife's second and third appointment with our child because I have speaking engagements. I have speaking engagements, man. You know how bummed out I am about that. Like that sucks. Like and the second ultrasound is a 2-hour ultrasound because we gotta see both of them. I'm gonna miss that. But that's the reality, right? That's the reality. That's the authenticity of my journey is that, yeah, like I said, financials matter because at the end of the day, bills still have to be paid and lives still have to be positively impacted. But also being there emotionally for my wife, it just sucks that I won't be there, but being able to follow up with her after those appointments, like I'm super excited for that. And the other thing, man, is just taking my health seriously. Taking my health seriously. Like I've been running a mile every day and running a mile and then walking for like half a mile with my dog. I'm trying to get healthy, taking my health seriously, watching what I'm eating because now I'm gonna have two little ones running around here that I gotta keep up with, and I gotta make sure I'm taking care of my health so that I have the ability to keep up with them. And so, say that all to say, man, that's something that this is a community that you want to be a part of, that you want to help build, that you want to, coming from a black skin male, still a God fearing individual. So you got to understand, even when I say God fearing, I'm a God fearing man. But the misrepresentation of what God fearing man looks like, don't ignore that. This is what it is. It's knowing when to be assertive. It's knowing when to be gentle. It's knowing that it's okay to say, I love you to your children. It's okay. It's acknowledging that you're going to make mistakes and apologizing for making mistakes. It's understanding that you're not going to be perfect. And that's okay because your kids don't want you to be perfect. That's what this community is about. So if you want to join, man, I recommend following us on Instagram. Follow my journey at Givens Squared. Let me type that in. Man, we're starting a whole new chapter, man. I'm super excited for you guys, man. Let me get a banner up here, man. You'll be able to keep up with us and what we're doing. And, I'm probably, when the babies do come, I'm not going to show them a lot, especially in their newborn years. I'm not trying to do that. I'll probably bring them around when they are, of 8, like 10, 12. They want to be in these, but I'm not going to subject them to this, but we're going to just have conversations. I want this to be a space where you're learning and you're asking questions, and that we can bring some subject matter experts in the room or into our community that can help us get ahead, so we can give our sons, our daughters, our children a life worth living, and that we're able to come up with the resources and we're able to know what resources are out there so that we can get them to that spot. So, man, I look forward to showing you our journey. I look forward to hearing your journey. Please, if you have questions, comments, or concerns, if I don't know an answer, I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna find you somebody that you can get connected with. But I'm just super excited. Me and my wife are super blessed to be here and to to raise twins, man. I'm super excited and hope y'all stick around for the journey. All right, man. Y'all have a great rest of your day or evening, and we'll get at y'all real soon.